Tonight on TaiwanPlus, how do you combat sky-high housing prices? The government hopes taxes are the answer. Taiwan is ramping up production of some of its most advanced missiles. We find out why. And what's the link between Korean pop music and a missile defense system? Plus,
I'm at Taipei Zoo, where Panda Yuan Zai is celebrating her 10th birthday.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. The government says it plans to adjust property taxes policies to discourage house hoarding. Eric Tsai has more.
It's hard to buy a house in Taiwan. The country has one of the highest house prices to income ratios in the world. But the government is hoping to try and change that. The cabinet has proposed regulations to increase taxes for house hoarders, hoping they offload properties for new homeowners. The first part of the proposal looks to list properties at the national level rather than at the local level. For example, if someone owns 3 houses in Taipei and 3 houses in Taichung, they are currently taxed separately. The proposed bill would instead group all 6 together for tax purposes. That would substantially increase taxes for owners of multiple properties. However, this is only for homes that the owner doesn't live in. Property tax for owner-occupied dwellings will be reduced, while taxes for additional properties will be increased across the board. But the head of research for a commercial real estate investment agency has some concerns about this proposal. She says that while housing transactions have dropped this year, housing prices have stayed the same, which could be an indicator that the increased taxes may not have much impact. But she does acknowledge that prices may drop over time.
If the total transaction volume continue to go down in the next few quarters, we do believe that we will start to see a moderate decline in housing prices going forward.
While the government is hoping to make it easier for people to afford houses, Lee says they should focus on increasing income.
So we think that it's really up to the government to consider how to make everyone and every Taiwanese people in different industries, not just in the high-tech industries, can increase their household income, so they will be the housing prices will be more affordable to these people.
For now, the government is pushing the property tax angle, hoping house hoarders will offload their properties and let more people have a place to call home. James Lin and Eric Tsai for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is opening a 3rd representative office in India as the 2 countries deepen ties. The Foreign Ministry says it is working to open the Taipei Economic and Cultural Center in India's financial hub, Mumbai. Taiwan already has offices in New Delhi and Chennai. Taiwan says the new center will provide consular services and help to expand bilateral trade and investment. It also aims to promote cooperation between India and Taiwan in science and technology, education and culture. Taipei hasn't said when the office will open. India is aiming to make its own computer chips in the next 18 months. That's according to the Financial Times. The country will break ground on its first semiconductor factory next month. Analysts say its aim of a homegrown chip by the end of next year is ambitious. India is one of the world's largest markets for consumer electronics. Several global firms have begun investing billions in country, including Taiwanese Apple supplier Foxconn and US memory chip giant Micron. South Korea has announced it will issue an assessment of Japan's plans to release nuclear wastewater into the sea. That's after a UN watchdog approved the discharge, saying it will have minimal impact. But the plan has angered neighboring countries. Sally Jensen has more.
Running out of time and space. Treated wastewater used to cool Fukushima's nuclear reactors is piling up and needs to be released. Japan plans to dump it into the Pacific, worrying neighboring countries. Despite this, the plan has been given the go-ahead by the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency.
The plan, as it has been proposed and devised, is in conformity with the agreed international standards, and its application would have negligible impact on the environment.
Tokyo has not announced a schedule for the release, but the IAEA's finding is already being slammed by some neighbouring countries' governments. Chinese officials say discharging the waste is not the safest or most reliable option.
中方再次敦促日方，本着对全人类和子孙后代负责任的态度，停止强行推进核污染水排海。
In 2011, a massive earthquake caused a tsunami that flooded 3 reactors at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The accident that followed is regarded as the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. The plant is now being decommissioned. This involves using water to cool the reactors. Even though the water's treated, it is still mildly radioactive. Once released, this is where the wastewater would spread after 1 year and after 3.5 years. Taiwanese fisheries workers have protested, concerned about the impact the released water could have on their livelihoods.
恐慌就对啦，会使你讲哦，万一若受到污染的时阵哦，我连饭碗拢无去啦，生活拢不是生存嘛，无照生存啦。万一若受到污染的时阵，咱遮上啥人要赔偿？
But experts say that fish affected by the nuclear wastewater would still be safe to eat.
We are talking much less that is allowed in drinking water around the world. Would I eat the fish? Yes, I would.
The IAEA says that whatever the Japanese government decides to do, it will oversee the long-term effects of any discharge.
The IAEA will be permanently here, reviewing, monitoring, assessing this activity for decades to come.
But while the clock ticks on the Japanese government's decision, for concerned neighbours, the IAEA's approval may be the final nail in the coffin. Justin Wu and Sally Jensen for TaiwanPlus.
The UN's nuclear watchdog says it hasn't spotted any explosives near the Zaporizhia power plant in southeastern Ukraine. The International Atomic Energy Agency monitors nuclear energy use and has warned against any attacks on the power plant. The agency is concerned that any form of explosion near the plant could trigger a nuclear meltdown. Russia and Ukraine have accused each other of trying to plant mines and explosives near the plant, but the IAEA says there are no signs of any such weapons. South Korea says wreckage of a North Korean spy satellite shows the object had no military use. Pyongyang launched what it claimed to be its first military satellite at the end of May, but the launch failed just after takeoff and splashed down in waters near South Korea. After retrieving and analysing the debris, South Korean defence officials say the device had, quote, no military utility as a reconnaissance satellite at all. What is the link between Korean pop music, geopolitical tension, and military defence? Harold Hughes explains.
One of South Korea's biggest exports, K-pop, or Korean pop music. The industry is massive, bringing in an average $10 billion every year. But a defense deal with the US military cut off the industry to one of their biggest fan bases, China. A member of one of K-pop's leading groups recently made a rare acknowledgement of the unofficial ban. BTS member Suga made the comments during a live stream with fans.
중국에서 공연을 할 수가 없다니까요, 여러분. 이 K-pop 그룹 안에 뭐 요즘 뭐 한국인도 있고 뭐 중국 친구들도 있고 뭐 다른 나라 친구들도 있겠죠. 다른 국적 친구들은 중국 가서 일을 할 수가 있는데 그 팀은 중국 가서 일을 못 하더라고. 뭐 아무튼 그래요. 왜 그런지 모르겠지만.
Well, the reason why is THAAD, short for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. It's a US-made missile defense system created to shoot down incoming ballistic missiles. Seoul and Washington agreed to deploy the system on the Korean Peninsula in 2016. This was in response to growing threats from North Korea. But China has strongly opposed the policy, saying the system's radar violates Chinese airspace.
中方坚决反对韩美在朝鲜半岛部署萨德系统，希望有关国家慎重行事。 得损害中国的正当战略安全利益。
China reacted to the policy by banning K-pop performances, TV shows, and other South Korean exports. China has never acknowledged the unofficial ban, but South Korea has felt its effects. In 2017, South Korea appealed to the World Trade Organization to look into whether China was deliberately harming South Korean companies. Then South Korean President Moon Jae-in took a softer approach to relations with China. But current President Yoon Suk-yeol has pledged to deploy more THAAD units while strengthening defense ties with the US and Japan. And Korea's artists are caught in the middle.
아무튼 중국 투어 하고 싶습니다. 중국 안 간 지 오래돼서 정말 가고 싶은데 한국 가수가 가서 일을 할 수 있는 방법이 없어요.
Environmental checks kept the THAAD system in limbo since 2016. But late last month, it passed those checks, and deployment is now moving forward, which means that tensions on the geopolitical stage are likely to keep Korean idols from appearing on Chinese stages for the foreseeable future. Alex Chen and Harel Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Monday was the planet's hottest day on record until it was beaten by Tuesday. The average global temperature on Tuesday hit 17.18 degrees Celsius. It beat the record from the day before by more than 1/10 of a degree. And Wednesday's temperature was just as hot. Across the world, people have been feeling the heat. The UK had its hottest ever June. The southern US is sweltering, and parts of North Africa hit 50 degrees Celsius. And climate experts warn the hottest is still to come. Human carbon emissions have already heated the planet, and this year, warmer waters in the Pacific, called El Niño, will heat it even more. Taiwan has set a new record for the amount of power generated by renewable resources. Its generation rate was over 20% for 2 days in a row. This means 1/5 of all electricity used then came from renewables. Taiwan has pushed for more investment in green energy for a decade. Renewables like solar and wind are fast becoming an important energy source during the country's hot summers. Scientists in Taiwan have discovered a better way to stop the spread of blue-green algae and use it for positive means. Bingwang reports.
This is the Paraná River in Argentina. It turned green this February, covered in blue-green algae. Excessive growth of the algae has negative effects on both the environment and human health. But Academia Sinica, Taiwan's top research institute, discovered that removing an enzyme can increase the carbon fixation rate. Carbon fixation is a process through which plants convert carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into usable organic compounds, playing a crucial role in regulating Earth's carbon cycle.
就是把某一个gene呢剔除掉之后呢，可以增加固碳率到60%。对，这是一个突破性的发现。
The research team found that removing the enzyme had minimal impact on the algae's cell functions and allowed the carbon fixation process to continue. Another major discovery is that the blue-green algae converted the absorbed carbon into sucrose.
对未来减碳或者是在发展更多，比如说产糖，或者是更进一步转化成生质能啊，都有很大的帮助。
Environmentalists are worried about the spread of blue-green algae and have been looking for ways to stop the spread. But with this new discovery, the algae can be used for good and cease to damage the environment and human life. John Su and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Coming up, a competition in Taiwan's southern city of Tainan may be the sweetest in the entire country. Stay tuned.
Thank you for watching Taiwan Plus. For more stories about virtual reality and more, download the Taiwan Plus app.
Welcome back. You're watching Taiwan Plus News. Hong Kong-born pop star Coco Lee has died at the age of 48. She was taken to hospital on Sunday after attempting suicide. Joyce Zhang looks back on her life and legacy.
Many people in the Mandarin-speaking world will recognize Coco Lee's voice as the iconic female warrior in the Mandarin language version of Disney's 1998 film, Mulan. On Wednesday, the Hong Kong-born American pop star died at age 48, following a suicide attempt that left her in a coma. Posting to social media, Lee's sisters said that Coco had been struggling with mental health. The statement read, "Although Coco sought professional help and did her best to fight depression, sadly, that demon inside of her took the better of her." Her sister also pointed out that this year would have been the 30th anniversary of Coco's debut in Hong Kong, the start of a career which revolutionized the Mando pop and international music industry. Lee left Hong Kong as a child and studied in the United States, attending the University of California at Irvine for biochemistry. But she eventually left school to pursue music, starting off in Hong Kong and then expanding to Taiwan and the US. Her 1996 debut album became the best-selling album of that year in Asia.
看了很多我的歌迷，所以完全是觉得回家了，那感觉真的是非常的很温暖，很开心。
Over 50,000 people went to Lee's 1998 Everyone Loves Coco concert in Taiwan, breaking the country's record for most attended Chinese music concert. In the US, she was best known for singing the song A Love Before Time in the 2000 film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was nominated for an Oscar in the Best Original Song category. Lee was also a philanthropist, recording several charity singles and joining Michael Jackson's benefit concerts in 1999. In 2004, she also visited AIDS patients in Thailand as part of an awareness tour.
We may not be able to save the people here today, but knowing that we gave them a brief moment of happiness because we care.
Her last single, called Tragic, was released in February of this year. Lee had posted on social media that she had a, quote, incredibly difficult year, but encouraged her followers to spread positivity. For Lee's fans, her voice and trademark smile will always stay in the love that they've shared before time. James Lin and Joyce Zhen for TaiwanPlus.
Students at Taipei schools may soon find themselves in slightly smaller classes. The local government is considering cutting class sizes from 2024 by one student, from 35 to 34. Schools in Taiwan's capital have been struggling to fill classrooms as Taiwan's birth rate continues to fall. Educators say the cut would improve education because students do better in smaller classes. Taiwan is on course to produce more than 1,000 missiles this year. That's a new high. The threat it faces from China is one of the major reasons for the increased output. And as our reporter Jaime Ocon explains, is part of the country's asymmetric defense strategy.
If you're a nation like Taiwan, under threat of invasion from the world's largest navy, how do you defend yourself? And how do you prevent your authoritarian neighbor, just 150 kilometers away, from launching an amphibious invasion and landing on your shores?
And the best way to do that is to attack a Chinese fleet at its most vulnerable point, and that is when it has troops embarked and it is trying to cross 100 miles of rough sea between the Chinese coastline and Taiwan. And anti-ship cruise missiles are the best way to do that.
That's why Taiwan is investing more in its domestic missile development and production. But making missiles doesn't happen overnight. Taiwan has spent decades researching and producing the materials needed for these high-tech weapons.
这10-20年，大家也知道，在台湾其实最厉害发展的就是所谓的飞弹系统，尤其现在都是标榜这种超音速。
With a mature missile program, Taiwan has been ramping up production. For the past 3 years, output has been increasing steadily. Taiwan has made 500 missiles in 2021, 800 in 2022, and now it's on track to produce over 1,000 missiles this year. The country's largest weapons maker, the Zhongshan Institute, says they knew the military would need to increase its missile arsenal and planned ahead.
我们在之前已经有预判到我们有这个防卫上面的这些需求，所以我们在107年的时候开始投入一些预算，把我们的设备去做一些那个精进。我们也进了一些新人来做传承。
This push by Taiwan for more missiles is a result of the threat it faces from China, which has a much larger military than Taiwan. It's part of what's called an asymmetric defense strategy, which means using smaller weapons to take out larger targets like tanks and warships.
天下武功唯快不破嘛，意味着就很难被拦截到。飞弹它是一种不对称作战最有效的一个利器。
With more missiles available, Taiwan is able to conduct more live-fire tests and practice how to use them in combat, not only enhancing its defense, but also learning how to further improve these weapons. Justin Wu and Hamiokan for TaiwanPlus.
Flying cars are one step closer to reality in the US. Aviation authorities there have approved one flying car company for limited test flights. California-based Aleph Aeronautics say their vehicle is a cross between a traditional car and a flying one. They say it's designed to drive on the street, take off vertically when needed, and fly above traffic. The company says it could go on sale in 2025 with a price tag of $300,000 US. Taiwan's very own giant panda, Yuan Zai, turned 10 years old on Thursday, and to celebrate her home zoo in Taipei threw her a lavish birthday party. Sally Jensen was there.
Today is Panda Yuan Zai's 10th birthday, and I'm at Taipei Zoo, where zookeepers have organised a special birthday celebration. Guests have shown up wearing all kinds of panda paraphernalia, writing birthday messages and singing happy birthday. Zookeepers have also made a special panda-friendly birthday cake. It's filled with fruits like pineapples, sugarcane, kiwis and carrots. But will Yuan Zai eat her cake?
Maybe not. Still, fans are thrilled to see their favorite panda princess.
我是觉得元仔今天的食欲好像因为他那个假孕期的关系，所以有点不太好。但是还是很高兴看到他看到蛋糕，觉得很好奇，然后把蛋糕推倒的样子。
就非常开心啊，因为今天是一个很棒的里程碑。他今年10岁了，他算是台湾的动物，应该是第一只台湾出生的。
Yuan Zai is the child of what's known as panda diplomacy. She was born to parents Tuan Tuan and Yuan Yuan, two pandas China gifted to Taiwan in 2008. It was perhaps the most significant example of positive cross-strait relations this century, which some have called a propaganda move by Beijing. Some Taiwanese people say that despite being born here, Yuan Zai is technically not Taiwanese since her parents are Chinese. But Taipei Zoo believes panda protection doesn't need to be politicized.
两岸的权责有濒危物种的保育主管机关，甚至是像是海基海协会，大家都需要能够拿出一点热情来协助我们猫熊一家，能够在照养或者是婚配上，能够帮助他们做到更好的一个决策。
The extravagance of this celebration is really fitting for the conservation success story of one of the most endangered species on the planet. It also illustrates wildlife experts' concerns that Taiwan allocates vast amounts of money and resources towards a handful of pandas at the expense of other native protected species. But at today's celebration, the only thing that guests want is for Yuan Zai to have the best 10th birthday party ever and to let her eat cake. Cam Shu and Sally Jensen in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Martial artist Gao Qingyi has bagged a gold medal at the World School Taekwondo Championships in Mexico. The athlete from Taiwan claimed the top prize last week after defeating her Ukrainian opponent in the women's under 55 kilogram finals. Gao is a high school student from the southern city of Kaohsiung. She started practicing Taekwondo at the age of 7 and for the last 10 years has been undergoing 3 hours of intensive training each day. She's currently gearing up to compete in this year's National Games in October. Mango lovers in Taiwan are spoiled for choice, especially in Tainan in the country's south, which every year hosts a contest to find the best. Bryn Thomas has this story.
For fruit lovers, the International Mango Festival in Taiwan's southern Tainan City is a dream come true. But for farmers like Zhuang Shenlong, it's serious business.
甜度的话，其实我每年都在改进，因为我们是山坡地本身它的甜度就会比较高。
Zhuang took home the grand prize at this year's festival, which runs throughout July. His winning mango variety had a sweetness rating of 15, at the higher end of mango's natural sweetness range. Farmer Zhuang of Tainan's Nanxi district says the secret to cultivating it is in the pruning.
你这条打掉一半，你自然说你的花就会少一半。
所以养分啊什么这样就会比较充分。
对对对，分配到每个果实上面。
Summer is mango season in Taiwan. The sweet fruit appears in drinks and salads or is eaten fresh. They're even served alongside cold noodles. In Taiwan, it wouldn't be summer without them. And the contest proves something many people already know.
台南芒果是 No.1， 这已经是不需要争执的。
Can't argue with that. Andy Shui and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Take care and see you next time.